Hello, my name is Brian Becker, and I'm the Academic Outreach Advisor for the Office of Minority Student Affairs. The video you're about to watch is part of a larger series we're calling the Student Success Kit. In each of these videos, you'll learn a bunch of tips and tricks on how to use the different academic resources available to you. That said, let's get right into it. Welcome back. In today's video, we'll be talking about calculating and understanding your GPA. So the page I have pulled up here is actually provided by the Office of the Registrar. It's a tool to calculate your GPA. So to access this, you go to the Office of the Registrar website, courses and grades, and then at the bottom it says calculate your GPA. Or if you want to go directly here, you can go to registrar.illinois.edu/coursesgrades/calculate your GPA. So on this page, it talks about initially understanding your GPA. And so the GPA reported on your official Illinois transcript displays 2 digits to the right of the decimal point and is truncated, not rounded. Now, what does that mean? So truncated essentially means that it only takes those front 2 decimal points. So let's say, as it's shown at the bottom here, if you get a 2.1875, rather than rounded up to a 2.19, it's truncated and kept at the 2.18. So that's extremely important to understand that your GPA will not be rounded up. It will be truncated. And so on your official transcript, it displays 4 different GPAs. So term GPA, total institution, total transfer, and your overall GPA. Your total institution is for your GPA for the courses that you've completed at the University of Illinois. Your total transfer is for courses taken outside, and your overall is a combination of those 2 GPAs. So it's extremely important to understand the distinction between those, because some GPA requirements are based solely on your University of Illinois GPA and not your overall GPA. If you have any questions or confusion about that, definitely consult with your academic advisor. But for the next part, we're going to talk about predicting your future GPA. Now, it's important to understand that this is predicting your GPA and not a formal calculation of your actual GPA that'll be reflected on your official transcripts. That calculation is done after the fact, after you've received your final grades. So it's more of a tool to kind of understand where your GPA will be at, and is typically accurate. But again, be prepared to sit down with your academic advisor to go through that and the formal calculations that reflect on your official transcript. But to predict your future GPA, there's essentially 4 steps to that. The first of which is you multiply the grade points defined for the grade. So for example, an A would be a 4.0 by the number of credit hours for the course. So 3, 4 credit hours, 2 credit hours, however many credit hours the course is, to calculate what's called your quality points. Now you're going to then add up all your quality points, add your GPA hours, and then what you do is divide the sum of the quality points by the GPA hours. So to go through kind of a quick example of that, we have what's provided here. So there's no grade points or GPA hours for this course here. So NA does not go into the GPA calculation. But then we see we do have letter grades for these courses here, as well as grade points and GPA hours. Now, for this course here, we see for the grade, it says CR, which stands for credit. And as a result of that, that means there's no GPA calculated for it. You just receive credit for that course. So NA for grade points, NA for GPA hours, NA for quality points. Now, in looking at the courses that have letter grades, we see here Chem 102 B+, Chem 103A, Econ 102 C-, Math 220 F, Psych 100 A+. And so from there, we can look at the grade points. So we do operate on a 4.0 scale, and we do count the pluses and minuses. Some institutions, what they do is an A is just a flat, let's say 4.0 for that. But in this instance, we do use the plus minus system, which does affect the letter grades themselves. So to see exactly what the scale looks like, so while you're doing your calculations, you can get the grade points. You can click on explanation of grades, which I pulled up here, and the grade point scale comes up on this page. So you can see, as I was alluding to, an A is a flat 4.0, but an A- is actually a 3.67. So it's extremely important when you're doing your calculations to put in the correct grade points associated with the letter grade that you received or plan to receive in that course. So going back to the example that was provided, We see grade points for Chem 102, 3.33 because it was a B+ in the course. We have 3 GPA hours. And so to calculate our quality points, it would be that 3.33 times the 3 GPA hours to get 9.99. We do those calculations for the rest of the courses listed here. We have 4, 5.01. And in the instance of Math 220, since we received an F in that course, that would be a 0 in terms of the grade points for 5 GPA hours. So 0 times 5 is 0, but it's extremely important to include this in your calculation, as neglecting to do so will really skew your calculation for that. So once I've done all the calculations for the quality points, I add those up. I add up the total GPA hours, including the 5 from the Math 220, even though we failed the course. So we have 35 quality points divided by the 16 GPA hours to receive the final GPA of 2.1875. However, since we truncate here, that is cut to a 2.18. So again, after you're doing your calculations, make sure that you do go out to the full 4 decimal points at least, but truncate it from there. So do not round up your GPA, as that will not be an accurate reflection of what your GPA will be after the fact. This really does come into play if you have GPA requirements for either your major, your college, or if you receive financial aid and scholarships that require a certain GPA. So you wouldn't want to calculate it and round up and think that you're fine, when in reality that score is actually getting truncated. Now, in addition to calculating it, let's say by hand or with a calculator, the Office of the Registrar does actually offer a GPA calculator tool, which uses the same information that we use for the first page. However, let's say you're several semesters in and you want an overall kind of calculation of your cumulative GPA and not just your term GPA, you would have to enter either your total GPA hours or both your quality points and your current GPA. So this information you can receive from your official transcripts, or if you run a degree audit report, that information will be reflected there as well. If you're not sure how to run a degree audit report, or DARS for short, we do actually have another video posted that walks you through exactly how to access that. So definitely check that out. But essentially this tool, you'd enter the same information, but just to reiterate that this is a prediction of your future GPA. So don't just take this at face value that this is what your GPA is or will be. Definitely confer with your academic advisor to confirm that information, and always refer to your official transcripts if you want the end all be all of what you are currently at for your GPA and for your academic record. But that in a nutshell is kind of how to calculate your GPA, how to predict your GPA for a term, as well as the different tools and resources associated with that. We hope you found that video useful. To connect with the Office of Minority Student Affairs or to schedule a drop-in appointment with one of our full-time student success advisors, please use the information linked below. You can also follow us on social media with our handle @OMSA Illinois on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We hope to hear from you soon.